Ahead of our 7:15 throw-in, we'll be hearing from John Kiley and Kieran Kingston after the very latest team news with our match commentator, Marty Morrissey.
Barry Hennessy from Kilmallock gets a rare opportunity to show his talents between the posts for Limerick as regular keeper Nicky Quaid is rested. Having returned against Waterford, Limerick captain Declan Hannon gets another competitive game under his belt in his usual position of centre-back. His wingmen this evening will be Dermot Burns and Ballybrowns' Colin Coughlin. In the absence of the suspended Seamus Flanagan, Aaron Gillan has moved to full forward, while Conor Boylan is a late change at wing forward. The Cork team sees Patrick Collins and Ballinhassig returning to the number 1 jersey, while Damien Cahalane and Mark Coleman are given the key responsible roles of fullback and centre-back respectively. There's a south side, north side city combination in centre field with the selection of St Finbarr's Billy Hennessy and the Piercig's Dara Connery. Patrick Horgan is kept in reserve this evening, which allows Declan Dalton to show off his hurling skills at full forward, while Kai Deasy is a late replacement for Alan Cadigan. We'll be talking to the Cork manager Kieran Kingston in a moment, but first, Damien Lawler is talking to John Kiley.
John, 7 changes tonight, and I suppose you play Cork in the Championship in 4 weeks' time as well. Where does the balance lie between making a statement tonight and maybe not giving away a huge amount for that game ahead either?
Yeah, listen, being honest with you, that doesn't come into it at all for us. You know, we're very, very focused on just trying to improve our performance levels from the last game to this, and you know that we can get our intensity levels up, use the ball a bit better, create a few more scoring chances and take a few more scoring chances. So that's really what we're going after tonight.
And how did it changes then? A youngster like Colin Coughlin comes in and gets a chance. What has he done to impress you?
Listen, he's a great young player. He's very young now. He's only still doing his leaving cert. So, you know, at the moment, my expectations for that lad is that he just comes in, enjoys it, gets on with the work, you know, learns his routines and gets to know the other guys in the panel. And, you know, after that, everything is a bonus, you know. So they're great young players. We're really excited to have them involved. But, you know, for them, the most important thing is to get in, learn the system and to enjoy their play from there.
Good luck tonight, Kieran. You said that you'd look at things after 3 games to see how Cork are going. How do you see it?
Yeah, look, I mean, as we said that many times, and yeah, we're happy where we are after the first 3 games. We can, I suppose, more or less set a plan out for the start of the league in terms of trying to get a bit of momentum, but also looking at some players we wanted to see throughout the league campaign and giving guys an opportunity, and we're sticking with that, as you can see tonight with some changes we've made.
You've had a great start and you keep developing players in the squad as well, a sign of trust as well, and Kieran maybe not giving away a huge amount too because you play these guys in 4 weeks' time as well.
Yeah, I don't think tonight is going to have any bearing in 4 weeks' time. Look, it's a month away, it's a new competition. I think Limerick will have some personnel changes the next day, we'll probably have some personnel changes the next day. Maybe it'll come down to who learns the most from tonight.
Yeah, developing players, developing game plan. Are Cork really playing that much differently this year to last year?
Oh, 100%, Joanne. I mean, last year, like you see here, I mean, they had nothing else in their mind rather than to hit the ball long every single time. I mean, you can see Damien Cahalane there just launched it down on top of Tadhg de Burke, and it's a 3v1 there, like it's impossible to win. And like they done that, I could have shown 20 clips of this, Joanne. I mean, you can see here, Mark Coleman gets the ball, he just turns onto his favourite left side, he hits the ball as long as he can, and again, you can see here, and it actually ends up in a 5v2 situation, and they did that time and time again, and like they had no chance of winning that game considering the way they were playing. I mean, this year it's totally different. You can see here Tim O'Mahony, and they just keep on working the ball, and just look at Robbie O'Flynn there on the right here, shot and where he started his run, and they just kept on playing the ball, 20-30 yard passes, hand pass runners off the shoulder, and that's where he finishes up then, and he sticks the ball in the back of the net. And again, just another example of the window breaking ball, and again, runners off the shoulder, short pass, ball to hand, runner off the shoulder again, Luke Meade, and he sticks the ball over the bar. And John, I thought was very interesting, Joanne, is there last week here in Kingston came out and he said, you know, last year people were giving out that we were hitting long ball. This year there's people giving out that we're playing the short ball, and like, you know, you can't do right, you can't do wrong. And I remember I was here about a couple of years ago, just sitting up there, and I think it was in 2018, and one of the Limerick defenders, halfbacks, got a ball, and they were playing around and they lost possession, and one of the supporters in the stand started giving out, for God's sake, we'll hit the ball long. And literally about 90 seconds later, the same player got the ball just over here, he hit it as long as he could and hit it straight down into the opposition half-back, and the same fella was wrong when you find a teammate. So actually I don't think people really know what they want. They just want their team to keep possession, but at times I just think Cork maybe are exaggerating it a small bit this year.
Donal Óg knows exactly how you feel on that one, there's no doubt about that. You're obviously happy with the game plan they're trying to develop, yes?
Well, like, I think it's as much about the safe transfer of the ball as anything, and you can be sure in the same way that, like, there's a load of talk about Limerick that they're very systematic, right? because people are drawn to certain things, and maybe when something is a bit different, people really focus in on that. But you can be sure the likes of Paul Kinnerk here behind me, he's only trying to implement the game plan that suits Limerick the best. It's not like that he's got one way of playing the game in his head and that's the way he wants to bring it. And Cork will be no different to that.
Well, show us some variety then that's in the Limerick thing, because this appears to be something that drives you a bit mad.
Yeah, well, listen, there's a perception out there that Limerick played a short game all the time. I mean, see there, Diarmaid Byrnes, he hit the ball about 100 yards, like, and up against Seamus Flanagan, and you can see there the man is pulling out of him. It comes back to Don Logan is tackling. And I mean, if John Milan scored that in his prime, Joanne, the whole place would be talking about it. And I mean, again, you can see here, Declan wins the ball, pops it to Kyle off the shoulder, and again, it's another 80, 90 yard pass, like, so they don't play the short ball all the time. And again, like Aaron Gillan, a very, very tricky ball, I suppose. Conor Prunty tries his level best to defend him, and again, another absolutely incredible score. And they do this a lot of the time. And like this goal against Galway came from a long puck out from Nicky. Rod Hegarty ran onto the break, ran into the fence, and you can see Seamus Flanagan peels off then, and he sticks the ball into the back of the net. But there is that variation there if teams do sit off them. I mean, look at the crispness of this. Barry Nash, ball to hand to Tom Morrissey, runner off the shoulder, and Declan Hannon comes onto it and hits the ball over the bar. So I just think at times there's this perception out there about Limerick that they play short ball all the time, and they actually don't. And we hear all the traditionalists speaking about that the game is ruined and all that, but what do they want? I mean, if someone hits a long ball and it drops into an opposition's hand, they're giving out, and if they play the short ball, they're giving out. So I actually don't know what they want, but what I do know, and I don't mean to be biased here, is that Limerick, I think, play the nicest brand of hurling because of how much variance they have in it.
Okay, obviously one of the reasons is they reckon that the traditional style of hurling is gone. We're not seeing long passes, we're not seeing proper competition for the game. I mean, that's what the argument is it not?
Yeah, but what is traditional, like? Do you know what I mean? You see this for how many years now? And I think it's great to see the evolution, and I think it's great to see other teams trying to come up with different ways of playing the game, having their own identities, and in the opposition trying to beat them, and that's exactly what's happening in Limerick.
Okay, we see our players lining up. That's because we're now observing a minute's silence in honour of Jim Gibbs, a founding member of Ballinacurra Gaels, and Billy O'Sullivan, chairman from Cloughan GAA Club. Commentary from a man with a slightly different viewpoint, I think, to the two lads here. Michael Dignan with Marty after Armagh Navian.
Today on July 3rd, and around the same time in Semple Stadium in Thurles, these counties will face each other in what they will view as a far more important clash. It'll be a Munster Hurling Championship match with a lot at stake, so it's difficult to know how this match will actually pan out. What will the attitude be? Limerick surely won't want to go into the championship without a single victory in the league, while Cork are building nicely with a young squad of primarily 23-year-olds that could seriously rattle a few cages before the summer is over. Joining me is Michael Dignan. Your thoughts, Michael?
Well, Marty, just to pick up on Joanne there, I think the most important thing in any game is to win the game. That tactic will never change, and how you do that is up to every team. They can play any way that they see fit. I think short, long is very much you keep possession, but you still have to move the ball long into your full forward line to give them that extra yard on their man, and that will never change as far as I'm concerned.
Limerick won the toss and are playing from right to left, heading down towards Caherdavin and over towards the hills of Clare. First opportunity falls to Diarmaid Byrnes, and he sends that to the left and wide. Puck out, going to be taken by Patrick Collins. Cork playing it a little bit short. Sean O'Leary Hayes Hefty out over the sideline. Line ball for Limerick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see even Cork, obviously, during the league so far, playing a short game, but a lot of changes in both teams tonight, and it'll be interesting to see some of these newer players adapting to the game plan first time out.
Darragh O'Donovan giving it back as Declan Hannon, picked up here by Cian Lynch. He's literally along the sideline, and it's going to the same place as just a moment ago. Wrong side of the post. 2 shots at goal, both of them going wide. Patrick Collins, this time going for long ball. Shane Kingston was the player that was calling for it. He was unmarked momentarily. Hand pass sent over by Barry Nash, who tried to collect it himself. Tom Morrissey giving it back ultimately to Barry Nash from South Liberties. Cian Lynch with the right hand laying it off. Good handball style. Tom Morrissey going long, dribbling along the surface. And even Peter Casey couldn't keep it from going out over the end line and wide. So that's 3 wides, and we hardly have 2 minutes played here at the LIT Gaelic grounds. Unusual situation is that the Cork goalkeeper is Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig. The sub-goalkeeper is his brother Ger, and there's another brother, Matthew, who also plays in goals, and he is transferred to Kilmacud Crokes in Stillorgan. I suppose it's the only way he get a game.
It is some family. There was a question of, I think, up on social media a few weeks ago about that. Wonder when the last one. I think the 2 tries were goalie and sub-goalie for after in one league match, but it's very unusual. Talented family.
And of course, Ger played in the last match against Westmeath, and may I add as well that sister Aoife is a really top-class camogie player and plays for Cork, part of the Cork squad. Meanwhile, at the Gaelic grounds, it's Aaron Gillard going to take this free. Made a huge difference and contribution when he came on against Galway. He scored 4 times, and now he's scored once.
Yeah, Marty, it'll be interesting to see this evening, who wants to win this game. The old cliche as well, but Limerick, I think they could really do with a win. A couple of losses under their belt, and it'll be interesting to see tonight how hungry they are, because I think coming into the championship, I think a win is very important for them tonight.
Well, they've started brightly, and they're in the attack again. Flicking up first, Conor Boylan just took his eye off at moment. Cork are there swarming around, good defending. Comes far as Dara Connery from the Pearshie Club. Cian Lynch on the ball, looking around to see who's available. Gives it back far as William O'Donoghue, and William has scored a fabulous point. Straight between the posts and over the bar. Patrick Swell to the Pearshie.
Yeah, the vision of Cian Lynch though again, Marty, picked that ball heading for the goals, turned around, took his time, played a lovely ball to Will O'Donoghue, and just no step, just over the bar, and a great score.
Sean O'Leary Hayes from Middleton giving it back to his keeper. Changes direction of the movement of the game to the far side. Under pressure, it's Ger Millerick. Great to see him back playing, having suffered quite a long time with injuries. And Cork get a break here. Plenty of space. Gathered by the fullback Damien Callahan. He's going to go for a point from out the field. That's the fullback. Native of Castlehaven. Plays his football with his own club down there, and with St. Finbarrs in Cork City.
Yeah, great run there. He's following out the field, following Aaron Galland there, and got the turnover. And not often you see Damien Callahan that far up the field. Great score from him.
Conor Boylan was being held back, and Limerick going to take this free. It looks like Cian Lynch is going to stand over it momentarily, although Aaron Galland is coming across. If I was playing with this Limerick team, I think I'd leave it to Aaron Galland.
Yeah, interesting to see him drifting out the field. Normally he stays inside maybe the 2-man line, but Pat Ryan is in there with Peter Casey, and Pat Ryan's biggest asset is his lightning speed, so they're obviously trying to create that maybe one-on-one inside, and Galland drifting out the field, backfire there with Damien Callahan going up the field and putting one over.
Twice an All-Star, 2 All-Ireland medals. It's Aaron Galland. That's the angle between the 45 and 65. Never in any doubt, white flag will be raised.
Yeah, Limerick pressing very, very hard on the puck out. You see them all over the field pushing up on their men and making it hard on Patrick Collins.
Goes for distance again. Well gathered by Colin Coughlin. Will be sitting his leaving cert in a matter of days rather than weeks. Just 19 years of age. debut for Limerick, and it shows you the amount of talent that's coming through here on Shannon's side.
Yeah, and that's a tackle there that I suppose causes so much controversy. That spare hand, you can see very clearly there, Robert Downey just stops the player with his left hand. You can't let him walk past you, but it is a free, and Donald Logan making the point before the game. You know, you have to play the ball and wait for him to go in solo or whatever and get your hurl in, flick it away, hook him, block him, but you can't tackle with that spare arm, and that's a free.
This is Limerick's 4th free of the match. Diarmuid Burns, who missed out last day following a 1-match suspension, scores his first point. Bursting forward is Damien Cahalane, son of the legendary Niall Cahalane. Won an All-Ireland medal in his playing days, but certainly his family are contributing hugely to not just their clubs, but indeed to their counties. And it's Limerick on the attack again. It's Cian Lynch, and they have started brightly. And that is Cian Lynch's 2nd point in the Allianz League. He scored once against Waterford, and he provides the skill and the score here as well.
Yeah, Mark, that's what creates the difficulty for the goalie. He took a long one the last time. You saw Colin Coughlin winning the high ball unchallenged, and then he goes short and out over the line, forces the error, and the ball ends up over the bar. And there's Diarmuid Burns again, so Cork in big trouble, short or long from the puck out.
That's the 2nd time that the ball was lost to a wing back. Right here in front of us, Patrick Collins. Busy in the early stages. The clearance goes astray. Cian Lynch turns around. Collins is on his way back to his goal post, but it doesn't matter because that flies between the posts, and that's Cian Lynch's 2nd point in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, it nearly looks like there's 2 or 3 of them on the field, Cian Lynch, since the start of the game. He's absolutely going to town. He's all over the place. He's created a couple of scores, scored a couple of points, and Limerick look really, really fresh this evening and flying it.
They're winning all these long puck outs, that's for sure. Barry Nash into the centre towards Darragh O'Donovan from Doon. Coming forward is Colin Coughlin from Ballybrown. Can he score on his debut? Just tailing to the left.
I'd say that went through his head, Marty.
I couldn't blame him.
You could nearly see him thinking there, I'm going to get a point on my first day out, and a little bit of a rush of blood. It was a very, very easy chance, and he'd be disappointed. Doing the leaving cert, made the start on Wednesday. He's out here to see him.
And he's already been impressive. It's my first time actually seeing him play, but he's a big lad, and obviously got loads of hurling in him as Shane Kingston comes through the middle. Cork needs something here. Anything will do. Perhaps a point. Yes, it is. It's over the bar. Good score by Shane Kingston.
Yeah, I think he's hurt after that. He took a very hefty challenge here. You'll see a little bit of indecision there, and there's Diarmuid Burns coming in with a hefty challenge. The free had been given, but Shane got the advantage, and that's been contentious during the league as well. Refs stopping that, but Alan Kelly, in fairness there, just gave him the second to flick it over the bar.
Short puck out is to Sean Finn as we look at Shane Kingston scoring his point. This is William O'Donoghue. Pass is a little bit sloppy. Sean Finn is having to go back and vacuum it up. There's clearly a pull on the jersey, and that was by Kai Deasy from Blackrock, and that's going to be a free for a man who's won 3 All-Stars in a row, Sean Finn. Goalkeeper Barry Hennessy played in the All-Ireland Club Hurling Final in 2015 and given great service indeed to his county. Never easy to be the sub-keeper for so long. Cork come tearing out. Ger Limerick from Father O'Neill's club in East Cork won 3 Cork County Championships in a row with Emma Killy. Referee Alan Kelly from Galway didn't like the challenge.
Yeah,
That's a flick in Sean Finn, yeah.
Absolutely. What a hurler Sean Finn is, Marty. You know, you talk about a tough position, but the way he's able to get out, he's such a hurler. Whether it's cornerback, fullback, he's going to get the yellow for that flick across. But Finn's anticipation, his own confidence, even that ball going back towards his own goals, the way he trapped it the previous ball, and to have a hurler like that around your full back line with such confidence, massive plus. Here it is again. Look at Finn attacking the ball, and there's the little flick in. Not a lot in it, but yellow card given.
Picked up the breaking ball by Robbie O'Flynn. Hand passes out to Ger Limerick, floating one into the pathway of Conor Cahalane, younger brother of Damien. A high challenge. Referee allows the advantage. He has his arm up, and that's over the bar. Good refereeing by Alan Kelly. Great point by Conor Cahalane. The Cahalane brothers have now both scored in the Gaelic grounds.
You can see what Cork has a lot of changes tonight, but their game plan, their running game, they're ferocious athletes all over the place, and when they get moving, get that yard of space, they're really dangerous, and that's a great score from Conor.
Well won into the centre. Dara Connery well blocked down. Limerick chasing ferociously, but Cork just beginning to settle, beginning to play a bit of hurling here. Coming through the middle is Mark Coleman. Good ball for his Conor Cahalane. Here comes the shot. Oh, off the crossbar. Pulled on second time back of the net. We do see ground hurling occasionally, and we do see classic goals. This was a great run by Conor Cahalane, and it came off the crossbar, I think. Let's have a look at it here.
Yeah, lovely ball over the top by Mark Coleman. Conor Cahalane, what a rocket off the crossbar. And I think it was Tyg Deasy following up. Just got the late call up for Alan Cadigan, and he pulls on it into the net. Great shot. He only had the yard of pace, had the goalie beaten, and back off the bar and into the back of the net off the ground. And that's Cork at their best when they're running. And here's Limerick is a Peter Casey over the bar.
Great response by the All-Ireland champions. And Peter Casey getting a fine point. This was the incident again. Conor Cahalane come back off the crossbar and into the back of the net. It's Jack O'Connor that has to get the credit. Good score. Scored a goal against Waterford, follows it up with a goal here. Picked up by Cian Litch. Backfires Dermot Burns. He's giving this everything. He's going for the score, but the arms of the umpire says it all. Fifth wide of the match for the League and All-Ireland champions. Well, Cork didn't have a really good start, but they have fought back magnificently to draw a level. They're just trailing by one at the moment. Damien Cahalane, not a great pass, pulled in the air. And Cork regained the possession. But you can feel the confidence growing when you see Robbie O'Flynn from Glanthorne, from Erin's Own, a club that produced the legendary Brian Corcoran. Half stopped on this occasion. Comes for Sean Finn from Bruff. William O'Donoghue looks around, has the time and the composure. Good hands by Peter Casey, taking on his direct opponent. Lovely stick work. Can he finish? Can he what? Brilliant score, Peter Casey, from just down the road in the Pearshing country.
Yeah, well, look, that's great. Look at the ball from Will O'Donoghue into space. Peter Casey, and look at the composure. Thought he was going to be hooked, knew he was going to be hooked, and turned back and had the confidence to put it over. Interesting tactically now. You're watching Limerick pressing, but if Cork break the tackle, they're creating loads of space in behind, and that's what they look really dangerous when they get possession. Limerick dominating possession, but yet only 2 points up thanks to that goal by Jack O'Connor.
Puckouts are in trouble from a Cork perspective as the ball comes back. Farrell's Tom Morrissey, and he adds his name to the score sheet with a fine effort. Scored 3 times against Waterford from a free in the 65, so this is only his second point from play in the Allianz League campaign.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 balls out to Sean O'Leary. Hayes in the corner, named 2, but starting in the left corner and not looking that comfortable on those balls and been turned over a few times there.
Limerick half back line winning a lot of these long puck outs, and Patrick Collins, to his great credit, is varying the puck out, but not to any huge success. Limerick Cork backs will need to make themselves more available. Good ball inside, comes back Farris, full forward Aaron Gallan, and that ball is wide. Well, Cork have been scoring goals for fun. In 3 games going into this match, they scored 14 goals and 65 points. And that's kind of a traditional thing in history, in terms of, if you look back in history, Cork love scoring goals.
They do love
It's kind
scoring.
of part of their feature of their game.
Yeah, and I think the criticism has been maybe just overdoing the short passing, but when they're moving off the shoulder, creating that space, scoring those goals, looking great in full swing, and look, missing a few of their key men tonight, obviously Patrick Horgan and a couple more, so wouldn't read too much into this.
Conor Boylan, Colin Coughlin has gone forward. He's going for the score in his debut. First time it didn't work, second time it did. And he gets a warm round of applause because they know this 19-year-old who will sit his leaving cert next week, this will be so important to him. Looks at the goalpost and hit it sweetly between the posts.
Yeah, unselfish. Conor Boylan, that's a great feature of this Limerick team. The player in the best position will get the ball all the time.
Here comes Cian Lynch. Coughlin is available again. He's going for a second point. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as the song goes. What a start, what a debut for the Ballybrown man.
I don't know who's on him, but he's loose up along here. Is he up wing forward? It just swapped under the puckouts there. That's all that happened. He stayed in that position and came onto the ball again and stuck it over the bar for his second point.
Well, right now, as you mentioned, is Robert Downey on him. Here comes an opportunity. Tom Morrissey laying it off. There's a chance. And it's into the side netting off the stick of Pat Ryan. It was too cute an angle, or acute an angle, should be what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But Tom Morrissey was unselfish here because he really should have had a shot himself.
Probably should have. Again, I just made that point about him being unselfish, but really there, he wasted the chance. He should have had a go himself. But again, coming from a mistake off a Cork puck out.
Limerick again, winning the possession in that crucial half-back line, that area of the field. Trying to scoop it up as Darragh Donovan, ball bobbling. Robbie O'Flynn gets a little bit of space, decides to have a goal from way out the field, but the ball is tailing to the left and wide. That's Cork's first wide of the game. 17 minutes gone in this opening period. Good block down by Declan Dalton. Not giving up. Limerick call in the reinforcements. No better man than Sean Finn. Down towards Conor Boylan. Sean Finn comes in to challenge again. Comes back, lovely pick up by Cian Lynch. Beautiful. Poetry in motion, literally. Tom Morrissey looking for the support, trying to get away from the shackles of left corner back Niall O'Leary. Gets it down towards Aaron Gillan. Gillan looking at the goalpost. Hits it over his right shoulder. Hits it just to the right of the post on this occasion. That's the 8th wide of the game for Limerick. But they are the dominant side. They've 11 scores to Cork's 4 at the moment. But that goal is crucial by Jack O'Connor.
Yeah, Marty, but the hunger, I think, is the big thing. Sean Finn there again, bursting out onto that ball. Cian Lynch is everywhere, and that decision making, very, very good. Tom Morrissey, beautiful ball down the wing there. Aaron Gillan with an uncharacteristic wide, and I think, Limerick's wides probably are the only reason that they're not nearly out of sight already at the first water break. But we've seen these water breaks working against teams. They seem to break the momentum of the game, and you've seen other teams then maybe coming in, the other team coming back into the game. But Cork certainly need to sort out their puckouts. They're losing an awful lot of possession.
At the water break, it's a Limerick 11 points, Cork 1-3. The thoughts of Gemma O'Connor. Good afternoon, good evening indeed, Gemma.
Hi Marty, how's things? Just to start off, look, I think the way the line out there with Cork there, they look very inexperienced, the team that they have, and certainly Limerick have a strong side. I think they really want to lay down the marker and get this win today. Cork puckouts are very messy, losing possession in around the middle third. We talk about the possession game and how they've refined it up to now. It's been extremely messy and losing a lot of possession there. Some positive play though from Cork as well, I suppose. If they can get the ball into the inside forward line, they do certainly look dangerous. They've already scored that goal, but it's just winning that possession and getting it in there is the problem. Limerick certainly look very aggressive and very clinical between the posts.
Thank you very much, Gemma O'Connor. And great analysis indeed. And the puck out is a problem. I'm not really blaming the goalkeeper that much because he is varying them. He's going short, he's going long. But I don't see Cork players running into space, Michael.
Yeah, well, look, it's been a weakness of Cork for a while now under the long puck out, and particularly against that Limerick half-back line. Whether it's Dermot Burns, Declan Hannon, it can be Dan Morris, it can be Kyle Hayes, and we see Coughlin coming in, scored 2 points already. So there's not much change going to be got out of that, but the short puck out is not working at all. I think with those changes in their back line, it's obviously making an impression. But like Limerick, they've had 17 scoring chances already. They've had 8 wides. They really dominate possession.
Patrick Collins, puck out. Just inside the Limerick 65-metre line. Tom Morrissey just being the guilty party as the ball came down towards Robbie O'Flynn. First free awarded to Cork in this match so far. And going out to take it is Declan Dalton. Of course, on the subs wearing number 26, rather unusual when you're at a Cork game to see Patrick Horgan, who's already scored 3 goals and 22 points in the opening 3 games. Declan Dalton gets his chance to take a free for his county, and that's over the bar.
Yeah, that's unusual, as you say, Marty. Long time since anyone else, apart from Patrick Horgan, took a free for Cork. But to go back to your point there on the puck, it's exactly what happened there. Robbie O'Flynn showed very well for that ball, ran into 40 yards of space and won the free. And they're going to need to do an awful lot more of that.
Well gathered by Sean O'Leary-Hayes, championship debutant against Waterford last year. Going long this time, try and find Ty Deasy, but a little bit too long, hit it too powerfully. Another puck out for Barry Hennessy, second wide of the match for Cork. Cork forwards, as you can see, pushing up on that inner defensive line for Limerick, with the result that Barry Hennessy has little no option but to go long. Robert Downey is in there, so too is Ger Millerick. 7 and 5 for Cork. Referee has had enough, says the scrum is over. Going to give a throw ball here, just between the 45 and 65 metre line. Tom Morrissey has running repairs on his boot. He's fine, boot is on, referee throws the ball in. Again, 'tis Robert Downey from Glen Rovers, past pupil of Christians, and of course played Harty Cup and played in the All-Ireland minor final against Galway. I think it was about 6-7 years ago. Now a student in UCC. This free between the 45 and 65 metre line, very close to their own 65 metre line, is John Kiley. We'll be hoping for success today as we focus on him momentarily. Mark Coleman going to take this from Blarney. He was the first player from that club to play senior championship a few seasons ago. Still a student in UCC. He hits it just to the left and wide. Third wide of the match for the Leesiders. Barry Hennessy goes long again. And Cork have settled a lot, playing a lot more confidently. Mark Coleman trying to get it down for us. Billy Hennessy from St. Finbarrs. Of course, is the great Ger Cunningham, who's the selector with Kieran Kingston. And Cork go back into the attack, trying to find Ty Deasy, but that final ball is so poor. Kieran Kingston off camera is waving his arms ferociously in disappointment.
Yeah, some very good play there. Mark Coleman actually robbed Keane Lynch, picked his pocket. You don't see that too often, but Robbie O'Flynn probably should have had to go himself there, and just trying to do the right thing, he pucked it wide again. Little tug here.
Dermot Burns was delivering the ball, and the referee didn't like the foul or the challenge on the wing back from Patrick Swell. Thus blew his whistle, having a word with Robbie O'Flynn for the challenge. Alan Kelly having a word with his linesman. Is it worthy of a card? I think he's just going to move on and say, okay, free to Limerick. As Dermot Burns was taking this, it was actually Declan Dalton that was coming in rather than Robbie O'Flynn.
It was Declan Dalton, and he's on a yellow. So I think good, sensible refereeing there by Alan Kelly. He went over, had a word. It wasn't much in it, and if he got a second yellow for that, the first one was marginal enough, he'd be off. So I think that was good refereeing by Alan Kelly, and the free is, I think, adequate.
Aaron Gillan, from where the ball landed, takes the free and raises another white flag. That's the second point of the game. Straight down the middle. Nobody in particular on this occasion, and the ball is sent back off the boss of Declan Hannon's hurling, and that is gone wide for the 9th wide in this opening 23 minutes for Limerick. They have scored 12 times, but they have been very powerful midfield in their own half back line. Sean O'Leary-Hayes gets the short puck out. Pat Ryan from Doon comes in to challenge, but Limerick chasing everything, as you can see. This is a whole new experience for Cork. They're coming to terms with it, but it's difficult. Tom Morrissey setting up Conor Boylan. 4 Cork players around him. Boylan going through. 5 chasing him. Can he pull the trigger? Brilliant save by Collins. And the referee blows his whistle. But Patrick Collins, the Garda from Anglesey Street in Cork City, comes to the rescue.
Yeah, look at Conor Boylan straight in on goal and off the side of the boot. What a save by Patrick Collins. Alan Kelly is allowing the advantage rule tonight, but that was a great flick of the boot, brilliant save, but he's called it back, and it's great to see Alan Kelly allowing this advantage. I don't know, there was a directive given to refs not to allow it, to stop the play immediately, but that would have been a great goal. We're after seeing a great save as a result of that, and yet the free comes at the end of it.
And Aaron Gillan taps it over the bar.
Yeah, Cork just throwing out his hand passes, hoping for the best, and Limerick closing them down, and it's hard to believe they've 13 points scored in 24 minutes with another 11 wides, 10 wides,
9 wides.
9 wides, so there's 22 shots at goal in the first 25 minutes.
Here comes Shane Kingston. Poor ball inside. Easily picked up by Dermot Barnes. Down fires Cian Lynch. Looking around, I can hear so many players because there's nobody here. I can hear everybody shouting Cian, Cian, Cian. Colin Coughlin. Declan Hannon from Adair, captain. Twice of All-Ireland winning sides. Back to Cian Lynch. Looking around unselfishly. Here comes Barry Nash. Once upon a time, a long time ago, he was a forward. Now he's a corner back and he can still score. Man of the match in the under-21 All-Ireland final 6 years ago over Wexford. And it was Cian Lynch's vision, Barry Nash's finish.
Yeah, Marty, that score was all about working off the ball, about movement. There was nothing on there if Barry Nash didn't make that run. Cian Lynch would have been in trouble, caught in possession. But brilliant movement. And here's another puck out breaking down, and Aaron Gillan tapping over an easy point.
Puck outs are certainly not working for Cork. And that's 2. I've been defending the goalkeeper Patrick Collins, but the last 2 have gone straight to Limerick players. But the Cork players really have to make themselves more available. Brilliant fielding again, this time by Declan Hannon. Comes first Tom Morrissey from out the field. He's having a lash. One umpire nods the head to the other, and that's over the bar. Brilliant play. They are the league and All-Ireland champions, and one senses that they have rediscovered their form.
Well, yeah, look, that's Dermot Burns, an unbelievable catch at the very height of the ball, but Tom Morrissey in loads of space, too much space at this level, and it's like men against boys at the moment. The physicality of Limerick that we talk about, and it's a very inexperienced Cork team, and it's showing up there.
Since the water break, by the way, Limerick have scored 5, just one solitary score by the visitors. Mark Coleman, all-star hurler in 2017, going to take this on his own 45-metre line. There is a little breeze, more or less favouring Cork in this first half. And this is dropping in, and this is dropping wrong side of the post. 5th wide of the match for Cork. Scoreline getting more intimidating as time goes on. Limerick 16, Cork 1-4. Dropping ball, batted away by Robert Downey. Picked up by Cian Lynch. Use of the short grip and the hurley over for his Darragh O'Donovan. Aaron Gillan laying it back for his William O'Donoghue. The Cork working hard, trying to find their momentum. They're under pressure. 2-3 Limerick hurlers chasing the 1 Cork corner back. Ball into the centre, attacking the ball first is Barry Nash, not waiting for it to happen. Jack O'Connor did well to recover it. From Sarsfield's grandnephew of Tig and Bertie Oak Murphy. The DNA is good as the ball drops down. Limerick defenders are there in plenty numbers. Battling away is Declan Dalton. Once upon a time he was goalkeeper. Now playing in the forwards. Ball coming through. Nicely dispossessed. Picked up by Cian Lynch. Beautiful play by Limerick. Tom Morrissey. As Limerick go back into the attack with Richie English sending a ball down towards the corner. Willing to take on his opponent is Pat Ryan. Still Pat scored a spectacular goal a few seasons ago in the championship at All-Ireland semi-final stage, and Pat Ryan has put that between the posts and over the bar. 10 out of 10 for sheer hard work and skill.
Yeah, and we look, that's Limerick at their best, like from the full back line. Brilliant tackling by Sean Finn, Richie English. 1 minute English in the corner. Next thing he was out taking the pass and creating the scoring chance. And Pat Ryan showed great perseverance. But Limerick really hungry tonight. And one thing, Martin, noted, very little fouling from Limerick. Something that they've been under the spotlight for the last few weeks, fairly or unfairly. They've only given away 3 frees in the game so far.
This ball sent in by Ty DC. Tally of wides increases to 6 for Cork. But they're shooting under pressure. They have to.
Yeah, and Marty, just to come back to that to me is good coaching. You know, like Limerick, they had been very, very marginal in the tackle, and some of them are freezing. It depends on the referee's interpretation. They've learned from that, obviously. They've worked on that, but they're not going in bald-headed tonight, and they're timing their tackling an awful lot better, in my opinion.
Peter Casey outnumbered 3-1, but Tom Morrissey comes in, and the referee had blown his whistle. Felt that the Piercing man was fouling. It's a free for Cork, just around their own 45-metre line. Beautiful evening. Sunshine beaming down on us. A little bit cold, but it's lovely. And little or no breeze, but if there is a breeze, it's blowing from left to right, in other words, favouring Cork. It is 10 minutes since Cork scored. That is a long time. Is that going to be bridged now? Yes, it is. Straight over the bar, off the stick of Mark Coleman.
Yeah, it's a great strike. He's missed a couple earlier, but that's from back in his own 45. We saw Henry Shefton talking with the lights later during the week, and still a great skill and great strike.
It's a long time though, Michael, isn't it? 10 minutes going towards 11.
Yeah, and
without
it is
a score.
Lovely evening like this for hurling, and just being completely outplayed. Physically, I think mentally even, like that Limerick's movement is just unbelievable. Particularly, I think their half forward line, Cian Lynch, Tom Morrissey. Conor Boylan came in late, but he's working very, very hard. But particularly the two lads, Lynch is just everywhere, and he's making the whole thing happen. And the support play all over the field is massive.
Peter Casey with Niall O'Leary from Castle Lyons staying with him. Peter is protesting that he didn't go out over the line. There's Diarmuid O'Sullivan, the rock, just there in the background. What a great hurler he was, the man from Cloyne, now a selector with Kieran Kingston and Ger Cunningham. Niall O'Leary going to take this. Limerick fouling. William O'Donoghue puts up his hands, says yes. Free to Cork. Going across again is Mark Coleman. Won a Fitzgibbon Cup, of course, with UCC. They defeated Mary I, actually, in the final. I think that was 2019. And Mark, of course, has really blossomed. Saw him first. Now probably one of the more experienced players on this Cork side. And he's going for his second point. He's hit it well. The umpires see it all the way, despite the glaring sunshine. And Mark Coleman's 2 points give Cork a little bit of hope as we head into the final stretch of this first half.
Yeah, Mark Coleman, a brilliant hurler. Normally their key man on the ball, get him on the ball as much as they can, but Cian Lynch is just absolutely running them all over the pitch here tonight, and he just he's not able to concentrate in his own game because he's chasing him all over the field, and he's coming out second best in general play at the minute.
Good work by centre half back Declan Hannon. Good to see him back. First game was against Waterford, under a little bit of pressure. Aaron Gallan calls for it. Very difficult angle, very tight, but he had the swagger and the confidence to have a go.
Mayor Martel, you'd be expecting it wide, but from him, you'd be disappointed it didn't go over.
Puck out goes astray again. Straight to a Limerick man. Darragh O'Donovan pumps it in towards the corner. And Limerick go in search of a goal before the break. Can they get it? Difficult angle, but it lashed over the crossbar. Good work by Pat Ryan, getting his second point of the match.
Yeah, memories of Croke Park a couple of years ago when he came in like that. Remember after coming on as a sub, and he buried one. Good defending. The goal chance was negated, but he did well to flick it over the bar.
Again, Patrick Collins goes long. Running onto it is Shane Kingston. He has to go it alone. It's Kingston bearing down on goal. Pulls the trigger. Barry Hennessy was right beside his near post. Left with no option. Went into the side netting. Shane Kingston is protesting vehemently. Umpire had no doubt. Puck out is taken. and Limerick go in pursuit of scores. Cian Lynch given a lot of space. This time it's Robert Downey that's trying to mark him, and Cian Lynch gets his third point of the game. His first score actually in the league was against Waterford, and now he's scored a hat-trick of points here.
Marty, he makes it look so easy. You know, he's just his first touch, his control is so good. It gives him that yard on the ball, and he's always playing heads up hurling and taking the right option. That's a simple score, but a brilliant by its execution, the simplicity of his execution.
Hurler of the year 2018. Ball breaks in towards Declan Dalton. Sean Finn does well. He has the support of Barry Nash. Still, Finn, he never gives up. He really is truly lion-hearted. He actually thought he had the time to actually look around and see if anybody was available, but great play by the fullback. Just a little bit unlucky in the end.
Yeah, he probably overplayed a little bit, but he could have given a hand pass out. And just see the hand in again. That's what that's all about. It's that left hand in from both players there, and that's the free.
1 minute of added time in this first half as Shane Kingston from Douglas looks on, and Declan Dalton from the Father O'Neill's club around beautiful Gary Vaux direction. Another one of the Imokilly players that won 3 in a row. Hits it with conviction over the bar for his second point of the match. Barry Nash goes for distance. Cian Lynch is winning every ball. Dara Connery marking him as the ball is sent across the goals. Hovering is Peter Casey. Cork are there in numbers. Ger Millerick lays it over far as Billy Hennessy. The Bars man under a bit of pressure from his opposite number 8, William O'Donoghue. Over far as Tom Morrissey. Has a look at the goalpost, but just this time sends it wide. That's the 11th wide of the game for Limerick, but they've scored 19 points in 35 minutes of action. Hand pass goes astray. Cian Lynch intercepted. Robert Downey has to go back for his Mark Coleman. Tremendous pressure by Limerick, and the pressure is causing problems for Cork. They're not being allowed to come out with the ball and look for a play.
Yeah, and you can see John Kiley there. He's clapping. He got excited over that, and it's a yellow card for Mark Coleman, just a bit loose with the hurl. But that tackling and the pressure they're putting on, and what that's doing is it's completely stopping the Cork forwards and getting into any sort of movement. They scored 2 points from play, the Cork forwards. Conor Cahalane got 1, Shane Kingston got 1. But the pressure, you know, Mark Coleman is loose hurl there, slapping the head of Dara O'Donovan, and Gillan gets the free. But this is a very, very good performance by Limerick. If they had their shooting boots on, they could have 30 points on the board. I
know we had doubts, you know. I mean, they're going to meet in 4 weeks' time, but I think clearly Limerick are sitting out their stall. They need a victory before the championship begins.
Well, it was important.
This is better display that I've seen.
Yeah, it was important though. They lost a couple of matches and, you know, maybe questioned a little bit, but they certainly had a brilliant first half there.
Well, Limerick the masters in their own backyard. Cork learning a lesson in the first half that the All-Ireland champions are certainly the best opposition that they've faced so far. At half-time, it is Limerick 20 points, Cork 1-7, 10 points between the teams. We'll have analysis right after the break.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Alliance. We cover courage.
What a magnificent goal! Wow, what about that? Portugal are the champions in Europe. Mbappe! France are back in front. Oh, he's done it! Marcus Rashford. Stage is set for an unforgettable festival of football.
UEFA Euro 2020. Brought to you by Alipay and Qatar Airways.
Sport. Be part of the action with our quick and easy app. In-play betting with thousands of markets to choose from on all the best sporting action. Plus, follow the latest trends and see what others are backing with our all-new Bet Feed feature. 888 Sport.
The bits made me do it.
The bits made me do it.
We're funny creatures, us humans. Impulsive. Stubborn. Easily swayed by the opinions of others. We procrastinate for eternity and make decisions on a whim. Can we ever say with complete certainty where our choices are going to take us? Just remember, once in a while, we get it right.
Toyota, built for a better world.
At AIB, we've always backed your belief with our competitive fixed rates. Which is why, whether you're looking to move, buy your first home, or switch your mortgage to AIB, we'll back you. We've also introduced the lowest evergreen mortgage rate for B3 or higher energy rated homes. Talk to our mortgage team or apply online at aib.ie. AIB, we back belief.
Savour the small things with Mace this weekend. Like Club Orange 7-Up Free and Pepsi Max 9 and 12 packs for just $4.99. Innocent Kids Smoothies 4 packs are just $2.50. And Flying Kiwi and Pasori wine is only $8.99. At your local Mace, we think it's the small things that count. Mace, going the extra smile.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Alliance. We cover courage.
It's not that anybody really worried how much trouble Limerick might be in, but after 35 minutes of hurling, 20 points, 9 different scores. By the way, only 6 frees conceded by them as well. And they lead Cork, and quite healthily as well, at half-time at the Gaelic grounds. Donal Logue, you said on Morning Ireland yesterday that you reckoned Limerick were aiming to lay down a marker today. Is that what that was?
Yeah, well, I think that's what we've just seen there, Joanne. Massive performance out of Limerick in the first half. Huge gulf in terms of even looking at both teams, the physical conditioning of both teams. There's a stark difference, but also, which Cork will be really disappointed about, the execution of the skills. There's been a big gap, and it's just have to say it's been an outstanding first half. The Limerick subs are up there behind me, and you could, even from the way that they're calling onto the field, you can see that they, like we said, want to lay down a marker to Cork.
And you look at Cork regularly persisting with these short puck outs, and so many of the Limerick scores came from all the pressure that they're putting on those.
It did, Joanne, and it's great when it works, but I suppose the difference between the way Limerick are playing is they're moving it very, very quickly. I mean, time and time again, we can see here where Cork have tried to work the short game like we illustrated before the game, but Limerick have gone to turn them over all the time, and there's no greater certainty, Joanne, that Paul Kinnerk and John Kiley and the likes would have been looking at Cork this year and said the chances for us to get our scores are from turning turning them over. It was the same in 2018 All-Ireland semi-final. In the last 10 minutes we turned them over, to get very, very important scores. And it's the same again. I mean, you can see here, even when they do hit a sharp puck out, like you can hear Paul Kinnerk and John Kiely, and they're screaming at the lads to turn them over. And like Colin Coughlin he's got 2 points in his debut as well. I have to say I'm delighted for him. But I mean, like you've seen it too, Dunlog. You're a man that has maybe arguably even brought this sharp game into the game of hurling. But I think, to be fair, like John Kiely and the lads will be very, very impressed with the amount of turnovers that Limerick are creating.
Yeah, you can see the way the Limerick players are actually lining up, that they're actually seeing it as an opportunity for the score. Such, like, you can see with their body language and the enthusiasm that everybody gets from those turnovers. Limerick have set that template over the last number of years. We all know that the forwards who tackle the most games generally win the games. Limerick have set that template, and as I said, they're just giving an exhibition in terms of putting that type of pressure on.
But Shane has essentially suggested that Cork haven't learned since 2018 semi-final.
Well, I wouldn't say that they didn't learn, but what I'm saying is that, they've played the short passing game against other teams and they've got away with it. But to be fair, and credit where it's due, the Limerick forwards have been known over the last number of years to turn the ball over. And this is the first, I suppose, since, over this year anyway, since Cork have really persisted with this type of game. They've tried to do it, and, Limerick have really planted a seed in their head for 4 weeks' time. Like I said before this game, the result, I wouldn't say it doesn't really matter. It was more the performance and what we've seen out there. And you can be damn sure, Dunlog, that Patrick Collins going home will be wondering what he has to do the next day out. So,
if we just move on to the small glimpses we did see when it went right for Cork and it led to a goal, although they were just small glimpses.
Yeah, well, just to add to what Shane has said there, I think it's one of the few positives that if you were Patrick, right, at least you're getting a first-hand view of what's actually coming in 4 weeks' time. And not alone Patrick, all of the defenders, all of the Cork backroom. This is going to be, what we're seeing here, is going to be 20% more. One of the few times the Cork were able to, if you like, spring the trap that Limerick are laying for them. And that's what this is all about, right? Limerick are setting a trap. Cork are trying to spring that and get past. And on a couple of occasions did. And for the goal, and again, just maybe trying to look for positives, but it was positive when they did get inside, that they did go for that kill. But to reiterate that, like, that's the one thing when I was thinking about Patrick, I was saying, you're seeing now at first hand, right, what it's close to what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks from a championship point of view.
OK, Cork require a huge second half here at the Gaelic grounds. We have that coming up for you very shortly.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Alliance. We cover courage.
Dermot Bannon is looking at some of the more ambitious lockdown projects.
I have just stepped back in time. Oh, look, there's a little snug.
Dermot Bannon's Super Small Spaces starts Sunday at 9:30 on RTE1 and RTE Player.
100 gigs, all calls, all texts for $10.99 on a reliable network forever. It's a simple offer, any way you look at it. It's 8.ie.
Effect.
Sip, 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 sip.
Ooh.
Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Tell me how it tastes. Good, good, good. Tell me how it tastes. Good, good, good. You can tell me how it tastes.
I found him.
At Energia, we're the power behind your rescue and the power behind great home energy deals when you come direct to us. Energia, the power behind your savings.
Okay, Google, send work destination to Juke.
This is how driving should feel. Nissan Juke, the coupe crossover with Google Assistant capabilities.
At a pub. It's been a while. The doors are finally opening, one by one. We all deserve this. Every catch up with old friends, every smile across the bar, every icebreaker, every Jeez, I've missed this. We've all got skin in the game. We have our pubs back, so let's make it last.
Summer night, I'll see you again.
At Tesco, we're going all out for summer. We've been waiting long enough for it, so this summer, barbecues are going to be extra. Stock up on our fire pit range, including barbecue pork sausages, brioche burger buns, Cajun corn in the cob, and buffalo wings. It's time to make the most of it. Go all out for summer. Tesco. Every little helps.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Alliance. We cover courage.
RTE Sport have teamed up with Cahernan House Hotel to give one lucky viewer the chance to win a relaxing getaway at this 19th century country house, located in beautiful Kerry. You and a guest will enjoy a 5-night stay in a deluxe room, complete with breakfast each morning and dinner on 3 evenings in their award-winning Herbert restaurant or cellar bar. You'll also enjoy a horse and carriage ride around Killarney National Park, complete with a gourmet picnic and bubbles too. And to go along with your 5-night stay, there's €5,000 spending money too. Check it all out on cahernan.com. For your chance to win this fabulous getaway in Kerry and the cash, answer this question. Former Kerry footballer Colin Cooper is also commonly known as what? Is it the Gooch, the Coach, or the Chief? To enter, call 15 17 71 71 74 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57001. Calls from the Air network will cost €2.03. Calls from other networks may be higher. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Monday, 7th of June. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
The sun has come out for the second half in Limerick, but Cork have 10 points to make up. Let's just pick up on something Michael Dignan was talking about in commentary there. As Shane would refer to him as Cork's trump card is usually Mark Coleman, and the reason why he's just not getting to feature nearly as much today.
Yeah, we're watching him off the ball there, Joanne. Like the big problem he has is he's marking Cian Lynch, and Cian Lynch is doing what Cian Lynch does, and he can't get on that ball in terms of that position when he can be creative. Now, that's not really his fault, I would say, right? Because if you look on the other side, Declan at times, myself and Shane were looking at it, has 20 yards of space around him, and he's covering, not a sweeper, you would call him whatever you want to call him, right?
He's not marking.
He's not marking, exactly. He's just there as that support player because the half forwards are working, the midfielders are working, and it's one of the things that when you're looking up the field here, I'm looking at the Cork inside line, and there's a massive space between the Cork full back line and the Limerick full forward line and the rest of the players. Any full back line is going to be under pressure, not to mention when you're dealing with the likes of Aaron Gillan with that type of space.
How is it that Limerick managed to do it with all that work that Donal Logue was talking about, that they make Declan Hannon be the free man and the Cork just don't seem to? You could see that they were trying at times, but it wasn't working.
Yeah, but it's more how Cork set up rather than Limerick. I mean, you know, just to go over what Donal Logue said there, like Mark Coleman is usually set in the pocket and the midfielders have drifted back to mark the centre forward, but he's not doing that. He seems to be following, you know, his man today. But what's very interesting, Joanne, is you were at the game against Tipperary, so were you, Donal Logue, and after the game, Mark Coleman said when the pressure came on that they stuck with the game plan. It's going to be very, very, you know, intriguing, I suppose, to see, do Cork stick with the game plan now or do they revert back to type? Just one other thing I'd like to mention too is before the game we went on about the tackles. There's been a huge amount of talk about Limerick and their tackles and playing on the edge and, you know, how physical they are. They've given away 6 frees here today in the first half, and all credit must go to Alan Kelly. It's his first game since 2019, and they've come in for a lot of heat, and he's done a very, very good game there in the first half.
But could that be because Cork haven't put them under enough pressure for...
No, because you see, because Patrick Collins has hit so many sharp puckouts, the chances have been there for Limerick to attack it, and they have been there. The chances have been there to give away frees, but they've just been a lot better today.
Let's get to the Cork goalkeeper, actually, Donal Logue, because when you're talking about sticking to the game plan, and as you mentioned before we went off to the ad break, when it's going wrong and they're getting turned over, I mean, how many of those are actually his fault?
It's easy to blame the goalkeeper, and obviously I'm biased, right? Okay, it's more that I tell you want to be a seriously good hurler in the full back line to play the way Cork are trying to play the ball out from defence, right? I wouldn't necessarily blame Patrick, and I would also say, right, this is a test of him, and I'd like to think inside in his head that he's been presented with a very hard puzzle to solve, him along with the rest of the Cork players, and we've got an opportunity to go at it here in the second half.
Okay, absolutely. Conditions for the second half, so let's head back to our commentary team, Michael and Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne. As you can see, the midfielders lining up there, and Conor Cahalane has gone in midfield for the throw-in. We see changes, but we'll describe those to you in just a moment. But meanwhile, as Cork find themselves under pressure, Diarmuid Burns with the clash of the Ash. Going forward again, there's the changes. Niall Cashman, son of Jim Cashman, and Patrick Horgan, Luke Meade are all on as Cork make changes. Robert Downey, Declan Dalton and Dara Connery are all off. So certainly Cork deciding that they need the reinforcements, they need new energy, and they're bringing in some experienced players, and indeed some new and inexperienced players as well. So let's see what kind of the cocktail will it work as Limerick go back into the attack. Once again, it's the centre half back, Declan Hannon, spraying the ball over towards Barry Nash. He scored a point in the first half, and this one is tailing to the right and wide.
Yeah, well, Marty, look, we saw again straight away at the start of the second half, the tackling of the Limerick forwards there, massively impressive, and eventually worked the ball over. It should have been an easy score for Barry Nash, and maybe Limerick's only criticism tonight is there's a great catch again by Coughlin, gave it away, but the only thing is some of their shooting has been astray, but playing very, very well.
The hard-working Conor Cahalane has nowhere to go. The referee has blown his whistle, but it's a real sign that Niall Cashman is on, that Luke Meade is on, and indeed Patrick Horgan is on, because they're 10 points down. And Cork showed a lot of character against Tipperary, and this is an even greater test. And guess what? Patrick Horgan is going to take the free. He's already scored, as I mentioned, in the first half, 3 goals and 22 points. 15 of those were from frees in the opening 3 rounds of the league. Round 4, he's on at the break, and he scored a point.
Yeah, I think it's a big half for Cork, Marty. Really, you'd have to say in the first half, some of their effort, determination for an inter-county hurler. You know, they're big games. You only get so many games a year, and their first half performance just wasn't good enough on loads of different levels. So interesting to see them bringing on those subs, and you'd be expecting a big second half from them.
Cian Lynch wins the tussle of the 50-50 ball. Drops the ball in. Good work by Damien Cahalane. Lays it off, fires his right corner back, Sean O'Leary-Hayes, and goes for the return. Damien Cahalane is still running on his motorbike in field. Ball comes down towards a Cork attack that has been rather poor in the first half, or indeed deprived of possession, as Ty Deasy is down there, and that's going to be a sideline ball for the visitors. Several of the Blackrock team that won the Cork County Championship last year blossoming and developing into this very young squad, it must be said, but they need a better performance in the second half. Good stick work by Barry Hennessy. Good work on this occasion by Robbie O'Flynn. Declan Hannon in hot pursuit, but Robbie goes it alone, and Robbie scores a fine point. That's his first in the match, but it's a good one.
Yeah, you saw Barry Hennessy trying to play a rocket of a ball out to Tom Morrissey, put him under pressure, and Robbie O'Flynn, very impressive athlete, great man when he runs direct like that, and just tapped that over the bar. Nice simple score, and a good start to the second half now by Cork.
10 points down at the break. It's a serious challenge. But remember, not alone is this match important in itself, far more is 4 weeks' time, and it is to lay down a marker. Dara O'Leary from Watergrass Hill, sending it down towards Patrick Horgan. Horgan, lovely hands, gives it into the centre, just a little bit too tight, but Cork could still bear down and go. There's an opportunity, and it's lashed to the wrong side of the post by Jack O'Connor. This was a goal opportunity. Scored the only goal in the game so far. He worked so hard to win the possession. Patrick Horgan was the creator. Great hands here from Horgan. Ball inside was a bit of a hospital pass, let's be honest. Barry Nash fell. Jack O'Connor kept going, but really he should have finished from here.
Yeah, mistake there, and there was an easy tap into the net really, and you could see Jack, the hands went on top of the head. He should have put it away.
Long puck out. Tom Morrissey giving it back into the centre for as Robbie O'Flynn. Flicking it on. It's Cork with Luke Mead bearing down on goal. Here, by the way, says Cork 110, so perhaps that was over the bar, and so we thought it was wide. Just to clarify, so it is 20 points to 110. That's the official scoreboard here, and our screen as well. Ball sent up for us Dermot Burns. Limerick have the composure and the time to go along, looking around to see who he could find. Aaron Gallan was going up for it, couldn't reach it. Puck out for Patrick Collins.
Yeah, Marty, interesting stat in the first half there. They have punch on the stats here. Limerick overturned 10 of the 15 Cork puckouts in the first half. That's an unbelievable statistic, the pressure that they put on that puckout, and here they are again winning it in the air. That's where the game has really been won and lost here tonight.
10 out of 15 is a lot in that first half. Aaron Gallan was fouled. It was Pat Ryan actually that was fouled, and Cork protesting, but it is a free for Limerick, and going across to take it is Aaron Gallan.
The big evening for a lad like Pat Ryan, Marty, maybe kind of a peripheral sub and coming on for a few minutes here and there, but to get a start and to get a full, when you're an inter-county player, you want to be on the team, you want to be making a start, battling really hard there. He scored 2 good points from playing the first half, and that's going to put pressure on the likes of Seamus Flanagan that's not here tonight, and that's what competition is all about.
Scored 6 points in the first half, Aaron Gallan. This going to be his first of the second half. Limerick keep their noses well in front, scoring 21 points now. Well picked out by Barry Nash. Darragh Donovan is helping out his defence, so too is William O'Donoghue. 4 hand passes in a row comes for us Colin Coughlin, stepping away from the challenge that's going to be provided by Ty Deasy. Cork regained the possession, sending it deep, very deep, and Limerick should have the situation under control. Sean Finn giving it to Barry Hennessy. Down the wing towards Cian Lynch. Still Cian Lynch. Conor Callahan was fouling him. Kieran Kingston is apoplectic, I would say, with anger that the free has been conceded, or more importantly that the referee gave the free against Conor Callahan.
Wasn't a lot in it, they were
really
grappling for the ball, and Kieran Kingston was very close to it. We're probably 35 yards away here on the angle, but very, very little in that.
I would say 50-50, to be honest with you. Some referees would give it, some wouldn't. It's that kind of a ball. As Aaron Gallan is going to take this, going for his second point of the second half. Never in any doubt.
Yeah, it's just stopped Cork's momentum. The start of the second half really well, and Patrick Horgan, Luke Mead, adding that little bit of bite up front, and just a couple of marginal frees now, and kept Limerick's the scoreboard ticking again for them.
Quick hands out far as Shane Kingston, just a few metres in from the sideline. That's bang on target. That's a really good score. That's the second point of the game. $22 points to 111. Knocked away by Niall O'Leary. Limerick player, last one to touch it, according to the linesman David Hughes, so that's going to be sideline ball for Cork. But good work indeed by Niall O'Leary. Made his championship debut against Limerick 2 years ago. John Kiley must be well pleased with that first half performance. You could see a different attitude entirely. Laying down a a challenge to the team he's going to be facing in the championship a few weeks' time. Ball comes down first, Shane Kingston, 50-50. Limerick win those 50-50 balls, and they go again to pump the ball into the space. Little shimmy, but Pat Ryan just took the wrong option on this occasion. Wide. That's the 14th wide of the match for Limerick.
Yeah, maybe trying a little harder, to get on the scoreboard. Aaron Galana just drifted off his shoulder, should have just popped a little hand pass, and he didn't.
The breaking ball picked up again by Limerick. Comes far as Tom Morrissey. And Tom will raise the white flag again. It's his third point of the game. And who scored, of course, goals in an All-Ireland final back in 2018, got one of them. Scores his third point here. Good work by Declan Hannon. Cian Lynch looks for the support of Diarmuid Burns. And Limerick looks so comfortable despite Cork's best effort to start the second half. But what about that first score? Absolute beauty from Diarmuid Burns. Second point of the game.
Yeah, Mark, that's the score of the match. Declan Hannon, brilliant control in the centre, but just look at the little hand pass he popped to Cian Lynch. He had the confidence to do that, and Lynch pops it then to Burns, who's coming off his shoulder. So he's looking up, he has everything in front of him, and the shot was on over the bar. That's a phenomenal score.
Cork working the ball out. Luke Meade from Newcestown. Blocked. Needs the support of a colleague and friend. Long ball up towards Patrick Horgan. Did well. Horgan gets the call from outside from Conor Cahalan. Chance here for Shane Kingston. Pulls the trigger. Blocked by Diarmuid Burns. Thou shalt not concede anything is the attitude. And look at that. You can see the clenched fist from Diarmuid Burns. He knows that was a good block, but it shows the intensity that Limerick can produce when their tenacity and indeed their determination is tested.
Yeah, look, Cian Kingston thought that was in the net. What a block by Diarmuid Burns. The bravery, the timing. He just put a ball over the bar here from 80 yards a minute ago. Back there then with a brilliant block down, and that's super defending. And I think the ball actually hit him. He threw himself in front of the ball and got a fairly. He's just down getting a bit of treatment now. But that's bravery, that's skill. And it wasn't going to be a goal. It's actually not Diarmuid Burns, it's down. It's only Sean Finn putting the boot back on.
A concern for Sean Finn, yeah. And Sean is fine. I'm pretty sure he will be anyway, knowing him. Meanwhile, Barry Hennessy goes long. Down far is Pat Ryan. Umpire signals it is a 65 for the home side. Pat Ryan immediately claiming it, but the umpire agreeing with him. Scorer 2 points in the first half, Pat Ryan. Doing well. All his brothers, Hall and Liam, also played for Limerick in their time, as this 65 is going to be taken by Diarmuid Burns.
Sean Finn has continued off, Marty. The boot came off. It must be some sort of an injury, and he's going to be replaced there by, is it Jerome Boylan?
Jerome Boylan from the Piercing, brother of Conor. His father, of course, is a very proud Cork man, as I think of it, because Dave Boylan has been the Limerick doctor for many, many years. As they make changes, that's Jerome coming on for Sean Finn, who obviously picked up an injury. I just thought it was running repairs to his boot. So Jerome goes in at full back, and right beside him there is Shane Kingston. Meanwhile, Diarmuid Burns takes the fray and hits it, smacks it beautifully between the posts. Patrick Collins kept busy with puckouts, short or long, but Limerick are winning every single ball. Diarmuid Burns with a beautiful catch. 50-50 are handed into their hands. Just seems to be Limerick's every time now.
Yeah, but I think they'll be thrilled tonight with their key men like Diarmuid Burns, Cian Lynch, Will O'Donoghue, Declan Hannon. All the men around the centre having storm games, and dictating the game. And Colin Coughlin, the other wing, first game, looking really comfortable as well. And that half back line is, so hard to break down. You still have Kyle Hayes to come back, Dan Morrissey to come back, Mike Casey maybe to come back. So that's a serious back line that Limerick are putting together, and huge competition for places.
Diarmuid Burns under the watchful eye of his manager John Kiley, but Diarmuid knew immediately he hit it. The body language said it all. I could even hear John Kiley says, all right Diarmuid, next time.
Yeah, I just see Sean Finn down in front of us, Marty. He's a ice pack on the hamstring, so that was obviously got a twinge there and took him off straight away.
William O'Donoghue, hefty challenge by Tyke Deasy. Still struggling to get up as the ball is sent up towards Aaron Gallan. Pat Ryan has gone inside. Gallan, from literally along the sideline, was a bit optimistic, I would say, from there. His balance wasn't right either as he was hitting it. That's the 16th wide of the match, considering Limerick have scored 25 times. It's an intimidating statistic.
Yeah, and there you see another short puck out, going to Sean Leary-Hayes, and the referee has judged him to overplay it. He was looking around trying to find somebody to play it to. Limerick had closed in on everybody and he overcarried the ball, and just when it's going bad for you, it goes bad for you, and that's the sort of evening that Sean Leary-Hayes is having. He's after losing quite a bit of possession. So if you watch the puck out coming here, he picks it up, he has a look, touches the ball after hurl, technical foul, free in.
I know what he was trying to do was to try and find a player available, but there didn't seem to be anybody immediately.
They closed up and that was it.
Yeah.
Easy free.
There's nobody available for a short puck out, so Patrick Collins goes long, but the 50-50 ball is being won by Limerick, although they have an opportunity here. Bearing down in goal is Shane Barrett. There's an opportunity here for Cork. Saved on the line, comes back outside. When it's not going right, it's not going right, no matter what Cork do. And ends up with the ball going wide. Let's have a look at that and see what happens.
I think it was Richie English back in the time. Shane Kingston again. Look, great control by him, coming at full speed. Brilliant shot. And there's Richie English when the goalie's out of position, up off the crossbar and out. And great covering again by Richie English to get back and sniff out the danger. But Cork are creating a few goal chances in the second half, and just took two brilliant pieces of play by Diarmuid Burns and Rich English to deny two certain goals.
Limerick with possession. It's Darragh O'Donovan sending it in and sending it over the bar. Well, he has been scoring in every game. Scored a point in Tipperary against Waterford, now against Cork.
I think that's 10 Limerick players have scored from play now, and whether it's cornerbacks, wing backs, full backs, it doesn't seem to matter. They can all hurl, they can all move, and if it's on, they can put it over. And as we've talked about so much in the game so far, a lot of wide, 16 I think so far as well, scoring 27. That is an unbelievable amount of shots to have. It's
an intimidating statistic.
But this is what they do, like they put 30 points on the board routinely, and you can see why.
Colin Coughlin continues to impress, getting a little tap of the hurley there on the backside, saying well done, and gone back to take this as Darragh O'Donovan. Sends it along the sideline. Coming out to take it is Pat Ryan. He's battling with Sean O'Leary-Hayes. Doon against Middleton. Linesman has his flag up, indicating that it is going to be a Cork ball. Well, I think he's actually going to change his mind. He's going to give a throw ball. Let's see what he's going to do. And he's indicating now that it's going Limerick way. Originally, he definitely signalled Cork. Good work on this occasion by Luke Meade, who's helping out his defence. Mark Coleman laying it off for Sean O'Leary-Hayes. Cork go forward with great burst of speed as Shane Barrett from Blarney. That's a good ball. Cork need goals. They scored one in the first half. Here's Jack, and it's gone straight into the net. That is a wonderful piece of finishing by Jack O'Connor, and that took a lot of skill because it was a very tight angle coming in literally along the end line. Just watch this for cleverness. A young fella from the Sarsfields club coming in literally along the sideline, hopped the ball in front of the keeper and into the net.
Yeah, Marty, that's a brilliant goal. He goes around Richie English, who's a brilliant cornerback, and look at the improvisation. Tapped that off the ground, and he scored two. He could have had another goal, and Jeremy Elric, lovely diagonal ball, and as I say, Cork had been creating those couple of goal chances, so super score.
And as any goalkeeper knows, it's very hard to stop a hopping ball, but that's a huge boost to Cork. Let's go down to the sideline to Aoife Sheehan. Your thoughts at the water break, Aoife?
Hi Marty, yeah, I think, look, Limerick will be very happy, I think, especially with the display from the likes of Diarmuid Burns. I mean, amazing there, he got a point from play, went down, blocked a goal, came back up, scored a free, all in the space of a couple of minutes. And that spreading across the half-back line have been excellent. And the forwards as well, and I think... you know, Pat there in corner forward has had a brilliant first half or a brilliant second half as well. He's getting on the ball and showing, you know, great. He wants to lay down a marker and be on the first team, I think, come, you know, in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
We're just watching Richie English saving along the goal line. I know, Michael, you said it in commentary that, you know, Cork are creating those goal-scoring opportunities. But I have to say, I loved that Jack O'Connor goal because it was real. It was an experienced player. Couldn't have done it better.
Yeah, no, it's a class piece of skill. But that shows you, I think, we're seeing glimpses of what Cork are about. And you can't read enough, you know, a huge amount into tonight. It's all about the championship now in a few weeks' time. Cork have had a couple of good wins in the league. But you can see that when they get to turn and run at Limerick, they can cause... look at this. Rich English is one of the top cornerbacks in the game. But like, that's a superb finish, and there's nothing you can do about that. And as I say, only for a couple of... I think a great, brave block by Diarmuid Burns, and I think an improbable one from Rich English up and hit the crossbar and out. You know, Cork could have another couple of goals there, and Limerick are miles ahead of them on the evening, but, you know, the gap could be a lot tighter. So credit to Cork, you know, they're playing away, but and they're definitely showing more... or a much better attitude there in the second half, and you can see Patrick Horgan's movement, etc. Luke Meade.
Kyle Hayes, just in your shot a moment ago, but Colin O'Neill is on. He's another one of these young lads that Limerick are producing, and he's also sitting his leaving cert next week, and we wish him well. I saw him playing against Galway, but there's huge buzz and talk in Limerick GA circles about Cathal O'Neill. I'll add Colin Coughlin myself to that list after what I've seen today. 2 19-year-olds sitting there leaving certs next week and making, well, we'll see what Cathal O'Neill produces, but certainly they have rich potential. We saw them in minor and under 21 ranks, or under 20 as it is now, as the ball drops in around the Cork goalpost. Patrick Collins comes off his goal line, stopped in his tracks as he was trying to clear, as he was fouled by Aaron Gillan. Patrick Collins looking to see who's available, and there's none, and he has to go long again. Ball dropping down, 50-50 ball again. Surely Barry Nash was fouling as he was holding on to Tyke DC. Here's Shane Kingston, little jink to the left, then to the right. Crossfield ball is aimed for Conor Cahalane. Cahalane confronted by Diarmuid Burns, and that is going to be a free. Diarmuid Burns getting an accidental knock there on the side of the helmet as he was trying to stop Conor Cahalane, but it's for Cork as Alan Kelly has blown his whistle. This is the incident again as Diarmuid Burns seemed to be holding and won his county a free. Cork medical team have just watching on there. There's Dr. Colin Murphy, son, of course, of the legendary Dr. Con Murphy. Colin getting married in July. At the moment, just concentrating on the medical care of this Cork hurling team. As that is sent over the crossbar, as Patrick Horgan adds to his personal tally. Cork beginning to win a little bit of ball around the middle of the field. Good work by Jack O'Connor. He's got 2. Could he ever get 3, I wonder? Well, he's done enough to win himself a free. Young Sarsfield's player has been very impressive.
He has indeed, Marty. Great turn of pace. Taking on Barry Nash, and just again, the left hand came in a little tug. Tiny, but spotted by Alan Kelly. And Jack O'Connor, you have to say, his movement, his work rate has been very impressive. A couple of goals as well to show for it, and certainly hasn't thrown in the towel at any stage.
Patrick Horgan, captain of Cork, back on the field since half-time. Scores his 3rd point of the game. Change in the Cork team again. This is Sean Toomey from Courcey Rovers, and the player that's coming off is Tyke DC. I think over 30 players have been used by the Cork management team since this league started. trying to blood new players from Cork minor under 20 players that have shown a lot of promise. Cian Lynch sends it along the surface, along the grass. Pat Ryan was holding, and that's going to be a free for Cork. Kieran Kingston must be a little bit happier with that scoreboard now. And they're not finished yet. Cork spirit, unquenchable. Ball drops down, beautifully gathered by Barry Nash. Declan Hannon has time and the composure to look around to see who's available. Pat Ryan claims he was being held, but come back as Damien Cahalane and Mark Coleman. Niall Cashman, nephew of Tom Cashman, son of Jim. To Shane Barrett, last year's Cork under-20 captain, who's fouled as Limerick continue to make changes. As Adrian Boylan, Adrian Breen, I should say, is coming on for Darren O'Connell. That's one change, and Peter Casey and Pat Ryan are the two players making way. 12 minutes to go in this competitive match, which will be used now by both managers, no doubt, to see what they have available to them, and with the championship just 4 weeks away. Patrick Horgan, meanwhile, taps that over for his 4th point of the match. 7 points between the teams, despite Limerick looking so awesome at times.
Yeah, no credit.
It's not that bad.
No, but it's credit Cork, and they look full of running, and they look like there's still more goals in them, to be honest, Marty. And this game, far from over. Still 10 minutes plus maybe 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time left. So Cork or Limerick need to score, and has Cian Lynch provided? I don't think so. Or has he?
Just to the right and wide. But Cork getting on a lot of ball, Michael, at the moment, around that crucial area that they were having problems, their own half-back line in midfield.
Yeah, competing much better for the puck out, and wants to get the Limerick backs turned. They're very, very good going forward and do much better.
Since the water break, Cork have scored 3 times. Limerick yet to raise a white flag. Ball is flicked out far as Tom Morrissey. Tom is going to rectify that statistic. No, he's not. That is now 18 wides for Limerick in this match, in contrast to Cork's just 8. But then they've scored 27 times. Ball comes back for us. Dermot Burns gives it plenty of air, plenty of oxygen, dropping down again around the house. Cork find themselves under pressure. The referee didn't like the challenge, and it's an easy free to concede.
Yeah, the Cork lads are protesting. I thought it was a chop down. We'll get a look at the replay here now, but long ball by Dermot Burns. If you just look here,
Adrian Breen going through,
taking just that hurl across. Now he was going for the ball, but he did come down across his hurl and missed the ball, and once the timing was out there, that was always going to be a free.
Nicky Quaid, unusual to see him along the sideline, but he being rested allows Barry Hennessy the chance to play, which is also very important, as that goes over the bar off the stick of Aaron Galan, who's now scored 9 times. Cork build again from the back. Billy Hennessy fouled on this occasion. Engineering student in UCC. He missed the under-20 All-Ireland final against Tipperary a few seasons ago through injury, but seen as a bright promise in Cork. Patrick Horgan coming back to his own 65-metre line. The wind very slight, just against him. Not really a factor at all as Horgan lifts and strikes. It is on target, it has the distance, but the ball is wide. Cork increased their tally of wides to 9. 9 minutes left as it appears on the top of your screen, left in the game. Billy Hennessy all the way down for us, Tom Morrissey. Morrissey on the turn. 1-2, thank you very much, and good night, says Limerick. What a response.
And that's a great score. And Tom Morrissey, I suppose, Marty, last year Garrett Hegarty was so good. He was just unmarkable. But Tom Morrissey was never far behind in any of the games. And he comes off every day, 4 or 5 points in play. But his work rate, his movement. And again tonight, watching him off the ball, he's travelling all over the field. Supremely confident hurler. And that's a superb score.
8 minutes left in the match. 9 points between the teams. 10 was the difference at half-time. Hasn't changed that much despite Cork's huge effort. As the ball is on its way, Slither over the crossbar. White flag raised. Patrick Horgan adds to his collection of points.
And that certainly has increased. Excuse me, the free count against Limerick. Patrick Horgan's fifth free. He missed one as well, and Limerick just maybe giving away a few more frees in the second half.
Bursting out is Jerome Boylan. Mark Coleman. It backfires Sean O'Leary-Hayes. Jack O'Connor submerged in a green wave, and that is brilliant play by Limerick. And Adrian Breen from the Persia gets a point. But if you want a good example of sheer utter pressure, this is it.
Well, that's the swarm, as they call it, and the biggest roar tonight went up for that score. That's what Limerick are all about. The 4 men closed in, no foul, put pressure on the ball, and they were at that all in the first half as well, and that's what they live for. And super, simple score in the end for Adrian Breen, but that's the work rate that they crave, and I suppose that's what top level sport is about. You can talk tactics, you can talk setups all you want, but at the end of the day, hunger, desire, that work rate is a huge part of sport.
And when you consider, Michael, when we talk about Cork players missing a lot, I mean, Seamus Harnedy, there's Dara Fitzgibbon, there's so many players missing, but Limerick are missing Kyle Hayes, Garrod Hegarty, hurler of the year.
Seamus Flanagan, lots of lads missing as well, and but they probably have a stronger team, starting team, very much more than Cork starting out, but they're trying to build that panel, because we all know you need that 4 or 5 lads coming on now, you need a 20-man. It's all about the finishing team. I think Jim Gavin came up with that term, and that's very, very important.
But I would see huge potential in this Cork side, Michael, would you?
Yeah, I will look. We're not going to. There's a great point.
That's a great
Cathal
point.
O'Neill, I think.
That is a
from the
fantastic score.
We were chatting about there is potential, of course, in this Cork team, and the leaders, their starting team. We were in Ennismarty one day a couple of years ago, and the Limerick Miners played Clare, and Cathal O'Neill was playing, and I remember us talking about him. He was absolutely superb that day, and to come straight onto a Limerick senior team doing the leaving cert himself and Colin Coughlin, that's amazing to come onto an Ireland winning team as a leaving cert, and the two of them look at home at this level, and they're big finds for Limerick.
You're going to hear a lot about Colin O'Neill and Colin Coughlin, that's for sure. That's a great point by Colin O'Neill as the ball is hit long again. Barry Nash under a little bit of pressure from Shane Kingston, flicked into the air, and Limerick go forward again with great speed and pace. Ball inside, there's an opportunity here, but Cork defensively are good, and coming away with it is Niall O'Leary. Niall Cashman is available, stopped straight by Cian Lynch and flicked beautifully over the bar from distance. The difference, team building Cork, team fully finished and polished off Limerick, as that pass goes astray from a Cork perspective. As Limerick make another change, this is Mark Quinlan from Gary Spillane. He's on for, that is actually Graham Mulcahy, I should say, that's coming on, who's been just introduced for Aaron Gillan. That was just a change indeed in the programme that we have here just before the game, as Limerick also introduced Ronan Connolly from Adair. Ronan, of course, is a UCC student, so he'll know a lot of these lads only too well, as Cork make further changes to their team, as they bring in Alan Connolly, another relation to the Cashmans, as Alan is a nephew of both Jim and Tom Cashman, and he's been very impressive. 4 goals and 2 points in just 3 games. And their average age of all these lads, Michael, 23.
No, they're very, very young, and you can see that in their physique, Marty. Like the Limerick lads are way bigger, stronger. They're maybe together a bit longer. Not that old either, obviously, young Limerick panel, but the Cork players look very skinny in comparison to the Limerick lads. They look like the finished
Ball comes off Patrick Collins and it goes to Dermot Byrne. Sorry, Michael, but I just thought that was going to go on the bar.
Dermot Byrne's not liking to hit it wide, but you can just see that the Limerick lads looked at maybe a year or two ahead, and which they do against most teams. Maybe Galway's physicality may be up there with them, but Cork, as you say, a work in progress.
Here come Cork again, bearing down on goal. There's an opportunity here. Can they get the chance to pull the trigger? Limerick are there manfully, staying together. Comes back outside towards Sean Toomey. Good defending by Limerick. They have to go back outside to try and regather. Ball is half blocked off the stick of Niall Cashman. Cork have it once more. They build again. Luke Meade giving it into centre towards Billy Hennessy. And the referee blows the whistle. Tremendous defending, it must be said, by John Kiley's boys.
You probably didn't pick it up on the TV screen there, but Graham Mulcahy, who's just come on as a sub, who's probably the longest serving player on the Limerick team outside of maybe Nicky Quaid, sprinted 50 yards there to try to get a block in and caught half puck ball, and the referee saw a foul. But just again, the competition for places, the hunger, the desire. If you don't put your hand up here when you get your chance, you're not going to be on the team, and that's what John Kiley has. That's the atmosphere he's created in this panel.
4 points he scored today, Cian Lynch, and certainly his first half display was truly outstanding. And hurler of the year back in 2018, All-Stars, of course, last year as well, as Cork have to ensure that their team are okay in terms of injuries. There's Declan O'Sullivan there with Dr. Cullen Murphy, as Alan Kelly has the time. I think Alan Kelly, in fairness, has done a good job. I know we praised him in the first half, but certainly he performed well as Cork had this opportunity. Great defending, it must be said, as Conor Cahalane could find nowhere in. Jack O'Connor had a chance, tried to flick it up there. Limerick pushed it forward. Sean Toomey was there and eventually given up.
Yeah, I think Alan Kelly is like maybe the players. The thing lacks that bit of intensity this time of the year. Championship last year, Marty, we did plenty of matches, even the All-Ireland final with no crowd. It's a much different atmosphere, and I didn't see the match, but I heard the Antrim Wexford match with the crowd, that there was a mighty atmosphere there, created a ding-dong, maybe a little bit of ding-dong on the sideline as well, and but you're missing that without the crowd, definitely. But overall, Alan Kelly had a fine game. He certainly had no bearing on the result. Limerick miles ahead.
Patrick Horgan with his 6th point of the match. And you talk about crowds, Michael. I was doing radio last Saturday night for the Armagh and Donegal match, and there was 500 people in the Olympic ones. I thought there was 20,000, but it sounded just so wonderful to hear people and meet people indeed again. And then I was in Innocence, and then there was nobody at it, so it's quite a contrast.
It is, and look what we're facing, Martin, the next few weeks. 100 at club matches, 200 inter-county. To be honest, I'm chairman of a county board. It's a nightmare giving us 100 tickets for a match. Who do you give them to? Where do you start? You're nearly better off if there's nobody at them.
Don't say that. We all want to see people.
But
I understand your point.
Big stadium like O'Connor Park, 200 supporters, it's not enough.
Here comes Patrick Horgan. Still one of the classiest players on view. We've seen a lot of classy players today. That's his 7th point of the game. 4 minutes of additional time going to be added on. We're already into injury time. 32 points, Limerick, 217 for Cork. And considering the situation, the performance we got in the first half from the Leesiders, I think 217, they'll be happy enough to score 2-7 in the second half. And as the ball cuts across the face of the goal and wide. Effort there by Adrian Breen. Comes out far as Mark Coleman. Barry Nash, so solid at left corner back, or indeed wing back. Graham Mulcahy gets a touch. Ball is sprayed over for us. Dermot Burns, kept along the surface, hit a little bit too firmly, and easily gathered by Mark Coleman. Sent back in. Ball is knocked away, comes back outside. Just good effort here by Cork at the pulling jersey clearly by Richie English, and the referee may well have to decide, was that a goal scoring opportunity? And even Alan Kelly can afford a smile, whatever Richie English said.
It'll be interesting to see, because there was cover, but
Limerick were under pressure, there's no doubt about that. No cards. As as we head towards 72 minutes, Patrick Horgan might well decide to go for goal here. 32 points, 217. Stopped and deflected out for a 65. Good save. And a rocket of a shot by Patrick Horgan.
It'll be interesting to see that one again with Rich English, because that's kind of why the rule was brought in. You know, it was a cynical foul. Whether it was a clear goal scoring opportunity, I'm not sure without seeing the replay, but certainly if he wasn't fouled, he was in on goal, and I'd say maybe just late in the game, but not sure it was the right call.
Once again, Patrick Horgan comes out to take the 65. 32 points to 23, 32 points to 17. This is dropping over the and between the posts as Patrick Horgan again makes a huge difference.
He has, Marty, I just think overall his presence has been huge. You know, he's definitely completely inconvenienced that full back line with his movement, and you know, I know there are a lot of frees he's scoring and 65 there, but he has been very, very good.
Response from Limerick is truly magnificent from way, way out the field. Superb score.
John Cahill O'Neill again, Marty, effortless, very, very wristy and great score.
I saw him play when he made his debut against Galway in Pearse Stadium. I felt he was nervous, but I think here he's far more comfortable.
Yeah, he started that day too. You know, maybe a young lad like that, get a few games coming on as a sub when the game is broken up a bit, probably a bit easier for him.
Good work here by Shane Barrett. Patrick Collins keeps it short for his cornerback, Sean O'Leary-Hayes. Back to Collins again, and they swarm around him. The Limerick forwards playing it rather dangerously, I would have to say. Luke Meade comes away with it. As Cork come in search of a goal, no question. Bearing down. Chance here for Jack O'Connor. Having a shot. Oh, that's a brilliant save by Barry Hennessy. Out for a 65. Jack O'Connor. I love his audacity. I love his cheekiness. I love his confidence to have a goal from way out. And it took the best of Barry Hennessy to deflect it out for a 65.
A brilliant save. But Marty, talk about the way Cork are trying to play it. That's the best of what Cork are trying to do now. They work that ball down the field, coming off the shoulder, you know, well-timed passes and a lovely ball across there, and took a great save to keep it out. They could have had 4 or 5 goals in the second half.
Patrick Horgan taps that over the bar from 65 metre. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. It's been a most interesting encounter between these two counties who will face each other in 4 weeks. Kieran Kingston congratulates John Kiley. See you in Thurles on the 3rd of July. The full-time score in this Allianz League encounter: Limerick 33 points, Cork 2 goals and 19. Analysis right after the break.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Alliance. We cover courage.
What a magnificent goal! Wow, what about that? Portugal, the champions in Europe. Mbappe! France are back in front. Oh, he's done it! Marcus Rashford. Stage is set for an unforgettable festival of football.
UEFA Euro 2020. Brought to you by Booking.com and TikTok.
You know it's time to start your mortgage journey when you care more about your security deposit than your personal safety. Or maybe it's just time to fly the nest. Ready to move, but don't know where to start? Start here. With up to 3% back in cash on your mortgage from EBS, the Mortgage Masters.
Constantly refining, constantly improving. That's been the Carlsberg way since 1847. The best kind of progress.
Probably.
Mega sale now on at Curry's PC World. Get this 55-inch Samsung QLED TV now $949. Save €250. Save $400 on this Samsung American-style fridge freezer, now just $1189. Get this HP Stream with up to 13-hour battery life, now just $249. Save €100. And get free delivery on all large kitchen appliances and large screen TVs. Get in store or online now at currys.ie.
Petrol or electric? Or electric? Why choose? Discover the BMW plug-in hybrid range. Visit your BMW retailer or find out more at bmw.ie. Sometimes electric, always BMW.
As tourism and hospitality businesses reopen across Ireland, you'll want to know you're safe. Fáilte Ireland's COVID-19 safety charter symbol means you'll know that business is agreeing to follow the recommended cleaning and safety guidelines, supported by staff training, so you can enjoy yourself with confidence.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke. Just for the sweetness, just for the feeling, just for the fun. Diet Coke.
We never got round to fixing that chip.
What chip?
That chip.
That's not a chip. That's just dirt.
It's a chip.
It's dirt or a smudge or something. Or bird poo. Do you know what it is? It's a trick of the light.
Yeah, it's a trick of your mind.
It takes courage to admit you're wrong. Allianz Car Insurance offers glass repair and replacement cover for every window. It's a chip. Get 20% off car insurance online at allianz.ie. Allianz. We cover courage. It's a chip.
Tato, the perfect snack for your entertainment.
Now these will look perfect.
Yeah.
They come with free lifetime servicing.
I like it.
Nice glasses, Dad.
Only €30 and all.
With free lifetime servicing, free 100-day returns guarantee, and glasses from €30. You'll see more for less with Vision Express.
Fear is a tough opponent, but it's no match for courage. Allianz. We cover courage.
Smiles for both the managers, and that's because both Kieran Kingston and John Kiley know the real thing is yet to come. 4 weeks away, the Munster Championship. But for tonight in the Allianz League, it's victory to Limerick and just their first of the year as well. The table looks, but really you have to figure that their eyes are all on what's going to happen in Thurles on the 3rd of July. Few contenders for the Allianz Man of the Match, but Donal Logan Shane went with Diarmuid Burns, and he is speaking with Damien.
Yeah, Diarmuid, great win tonight. What laid the platform for that victory?
I suppose the last couple of weeks I've been kind of challenging in one sense, and we knew we needed a performance for ourselves in the group. We're probably disappointed with the loss. Lost the last 2 weekends. I suppose the win is good tonight. Marvellous even. Like Cork have been absolutely flying it for the last couple of weeks, so we knew that there was going to be a mighty challenge coming down here to Limerick tonight. So we knew we had to be at our best.
Case of cutting off their channels but lifting your work rate as well. Just three occasions during the game you can nearly hear your substitutes absolutely roaring you guys on as you turned over another ball. Was it player driven tonight as well as all the great work your coaching team
Yeah,
was?
it really was. Like I'm blessed in front of me like you, and I look out in front of me, Will O'Donoghue, who was cheering around the place, Tom Morris, he just loves hitting people. So, and then we've like Scrot Hegarty and stuff to come back into that line as well, please God. And having like Scott O'Neill coming on there, adding 2 points, a couple of tackles, so which is great to see as well. The lads work really hard in the middle of the field and the full forward line tonight. Darren O'Connell coming on, adding score, so it's excellent to see.
I don't think anybody had any great panic about Limerick this year. You've won 2 All-Irelands, you're a great young team, but did you feel you needed to put in a display tonight just to get yourselves back where you wanted?
No, we just worked on our own performance, our own thing, what we wanted to do. We weren't focused on anything on the outside, just ourselves tonight. And we just wanted a performance for ourselves, I suppose, in the group, and get things flowing again. Like, we only had a couple of weeks to get back, like, so the sharpness, I suppose, as the games go on, that you're getting your eyes sharper, the hands getting sharper. And you could see the passing there tonight in a lot of phases. I suppose the tackling or intensity was up tonight, which is good, I suppose. But that's freshness and fitness, which is coming along the last couple of weeks. These things take time. They don't happen overnight, you know. It's not as if we had 4 or 5 months of training pre-season. We didn't. So these things take time, and I suppose it's patience, and we know we still have lots to do.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks you look to have, done a huge amount of work. Would you be hopeful now that the next 4 weeks leading to the championship will try and raise the bar even higher for you guys?
Definitely. Like, we have high standards in our group, and every day we go out. We went to do a session Tuesday night, and I know the lads will have bundles of work for us to do again. And we know ourselves this was far from the perfect performance. We have loads to work on.
Okay, you're the Alliance man of the match.
Thanks. I'll give you this.
And you covered a lot in that. The message definitely coming out from the Limerick camp is about the lack of games and practice that they've had in the lead up to the last few weeks. But how good was he today?
He was top class, Joanne, and I think what was most impressive is that he showed so many different aspects to his game. Like, I mean, he has got everything as far as I'm concerned. Like, you can see him here, he looks up, he sees the space and he goes to exploit it. He's got plenty of pace, and like, he's a fantastic striker off his right hand side. Everybody knows that. He's got a severe belt of a ball and he'll take them all day. Just literally a minute later then this happens, he got back to field, the pass was popped out, and this is his defending. Like, so it's not just going forward, or it's not just his striking, it's his defending as well. And as you can see here, and then draws a free, and literally another 30 seconds later from that resulting play, a ball is poked back down and he catches it out of the air. So there's 3 different types of things that he's done, all in the space of 2 minutes, and literally that was in front of us, Dunlog. That passage of play there epitomised his performance for us.
And yet we saw Cork come out of the traps in the second half. How important was that they got in, obviously turned in a bit of a performance in the second half, but that they got that early goal as well? There
was definitely more about Cork in the second half, Joanne. And like, Limerick scored 33 points, they hit 21 wides, right, which is fair going. But Cork definitely had intent, and when it did go well for them, it went well, and you could see that they were trying to create goals. And Jack O'Connor was right in front of us here, and we were looking at the angle here. He had a very, very narrow space to aim for, and it was a really impressive finish. But what was as impressive was the minute he got the ball, he was going for goals. So not all negative for Cork, but definitely, like, the whole game had the impression of a team that was going for 3 in a row versus a team without any All-Ireland medals.
Will you say that? And there were 8 points in it in the end, but they had plenty more goal chances besides that one.
They did have goal chances, and I suppose the one thing about that Jack O'Connor goal there is that they got their setup right. They started in deep, and to be fair, like, we said at half time with a stick or twist, Joanne, and in fairness they stuck with it. And like, this was, as good a goal chances as they probably got. Like, he should have stuck that in the back of the net. And throughout the whole second half, Cork definitely created more goal chances than Limerick, and that's something that they're definitely going to look at for 4 weeks time. Like, so they got 2 goals, they easily could have got 4, and like that it goes without saying, Dunlog, that's going to be the one thing they take away from.
Do Limerick talk much about the fact that they don't get goals? Because if they're scoring 33 points, then you're not going to need to score goals. But internally, do they talk about it?
Well, like, they're scoring 33 points, and I think they 21 odd wides. Like, that's nearly 55 odd shots at the goal. And I mean, it's not about do they talk about it or do they not talk about it. While they haven't scored goals in the last couple of years, at times they've created a lot of chances. No, they didn't create a whole load of them today, but I'll take 33 points every day of the week.
But do you consider it an issue? I know you're saying that you'll take it because it's worked for you, but there may be a day where it doesn't work for you. So is there an attempt for Limerick to find the net more often?
But again, I don't think it's something that they're going to look at and say, why aren't we not scoring goals? For me, and I know for them, is they look at the chances or the goal scoring chances that they create, and they only created 1 or 2 here tonight, but in the main over the last couple of years, like, you look at the last year's All-Ireland final versus Waterford, the match before that against Galway, they created a load of chances, they just didn't take them.
Okay, well, one team that did take a couple of their goal chances today anyway was Cork. They ended up in defeat, but here is their manager, Kieran Kingston, with Damien.
Kieran, a young side out there came up against a high-powered Limerick team. What are your thoughts after the game?
Yeah, look, I mean, we always knew coming into it was going to be a difficult game. We saw that the first 20-25 minutes we were totally outplayed, and I suppose in many ways lucky to be only down 10 points at half time. So we regrouped, We always knew the second half was going to be difficult. Made a few changes, and I was proud of the way the lads reacted in the second half. To be fair, playing into the breeze, and if we thought at half time that we were, I suppose, basically what we said to them at half time is let's try and win the second half. Okay, and we succeeded in doing that. I think that was pleasing, and we showed good attitude. Got it down to 7 points, but never really looked like kicking on from there.
Just with that opening, Kieran, I suppose a couple of the puckouts, maybe short, long, you tried everything to get going, but the possession wasn't really there. In the second half then, what did you do to try and kind of tweak that?
Yeah, look, we changed around the formation a little bit. We were crowding areas we shouldn't have been crowding. Not walking the ball out the way we had agreed we'd walk it out. But we had a lot of young guys in there today, and they learned a lot from playing against these guys, playing the All-Ireland champions at home. I think our guys will learn a huge amount from that, and that's for me is a great takeaway for the lads.
Thanks very much for your time, Kieran. See you soon.
Cheers.
He doesn't look overly concerned. I mean, the message very much so is our eye is on Munster.
Yeah, well, I think everybody, Limerick have sent out a message tonight, right, that Limerick now are back as for the All-Ireland final, right? Maybe there was a couple of question marks, but that happens when you're champions. Everyone is going to be focused on the team, who especially they're going for 3 in a row. They're going to be looking for cracks. They're going to be looking at, is there opportunities that maybe they're not as good as they were previously, and so on and so on. But I think tonight now, like we said, they've set down a marker. From a Cork point of view, I don't think Cork will lose too much sleep over it, to be honest. It was a young team playing against a lot of marquee players in the game, and there's definitely a lot of learnings for Cork in what they've seen there in the last 70 minutes.
Okay, let's hear from the Limerick manager now. John Kiley is with Damien.
John, you chatted to me before the game about the 2 weeks you had leading into this. You clearly got a huge amount of work done. Are you delighted with tonight's display?
Yeah, I thought we showed great energy, as much even off the ball as when we were on the ball. And I just thought, generally speaking, we were sharper, and you could see the couple of weeks working us. Greater cohesion amongst the players on the field, in terms of what they were doing with each other as a group more so as individually. And listen, we've seen incremental improvement week from week from the very start, and okay, it wasn't enough to get results for us up to now, but we're getting there slowly, and we just got to keep our shoulders to the wheel and keep moving forward now over the next few weeks.
Could you see that change coming in training over the last fortnight? You had a long layoff, and after coming back and winning an All-Ireland, it's hard to pick up straight away.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time, it's simple as that. And listen, we've got tremendous faith in this group of players. We know what they're capable of. We just have to be patient and give them the chance to get the work done. And it's about maybe looking after the bodies now as much as anything over the next couple of weeks, because we're still picking up those odd few knocks as they're going along, and we'll need everybody when the time will come.
Big statements tonight. Thanks for your time, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously Sean Finn we saw go off there in the second half, and you reckoned it looked like his hamstring.
It did, just from what I could see, as you said, when he came off there beside us. But I think, to be fair, Joanne, over the last couple of weeks, people have been nearly writing off Limerick, and wondering what the hell is going on. And I, for one, couldn't understand it anyway. As John and the lad said, they've only had a number of weeks, and while I don't know for a fact, the talk is that a lot of teams went back before Limerick, and I think that is shown in the opening round. So I can't, rubber stamp that, but from the opening Limerick performances, it looked as if they only had a number of weeks work done, whereas the last 2 weeks you can see that they've obviously cranked things up.
Well, not necessarily collective training, we don't know about that, but John Kiley, even Sean Finn himself, lots of the message coming from the Limerick camp was, John told us to take a break and we practically nothing while everybody else was on their own individual training programs. If that is the case, how quickly can you get back up to being at the level and then going a step further when everybody else has been putting in that training in the meantime?
It goes back to what we said at the start. It's all about, there's a certain amount of course, you'll depend on your sports science. There's a certain amount of gambling in it, right? That you're gambling that, can we time this right? And it looks now as if Limerick's timing has been good. What we saw out there, they're playing Westmeath next week. With all due respect to Westmeath, all Limerick's focus now can be on the next couple of weeks and preparing to peak from a Cork point of view. But what has to be said as well is Limerick are coming off a way better base than most other teams.
Okay, unfortunately, that is all we have time for tonight. Thank you very much to Donal Óg and to Shane as well. Certainly plenty of cat and mouse going on, but also lots of intrigue. Big performance from Antrim today, and also 34 points scored by Clare. So lots and lots to look forward to, and you can see it all on Allianz League Sunday from 9:30 on RT2 tomorrow. But from all of us here,
It takes courage to play the game of your life.
Oh my gosh!
Alliance. We cover courage.
Fill your home with our award-winning Sky TV and ultra-fast broadband from €55 a month for 12 months. You get all the shows everyone's talking about.
You want it, go get it.
Thank you.
Love it, look at that.
Plus our best ever Wi-Fi with lightning-fast speeds all around your home. So from just €55 a month for 12 months, get award-winning Sky TV and ultra-fast broadband today.
Liam, I'm on the move.
So what's new? How are you?
What? It's Liam. Go on. There's your mother. She's back for walking these days. She's got the pedometer and everything, you know.
And how are you, Dad?
Ah, we're flying it, sure.
But how are you holding up?
Get you.
Dad?
1 sec now. What did you say?
I was just saying, how are you?
Yeah, sure you know yourself.
Yeah.
Stay connected with 3. Now with 99% nationwide coverage.
How was school? Get down, mister. I don't know. Didn't say. Good do. Tell him to bring it out tonight.